Hello students, welcome to this English EduSat teleteaching program. So, my dear students, today we will be discussing the test taking skills, and especially our focus will be on how to write answers to questions carrying 5 marks and 5 marks for the questions of prose texts, right. So, before going to discuss and how to write and discuss some sample questions, I would just like take 1 or 2 minutes for recapitulation what we discussed in the previous English session. We discussed some important things for preparation, and also we discussed the distribution of marks, how the scheme of evaluation is prepared and how the examiners they evaluate your papers, right. So, these are some of the very important things. You should take care of your health, utilize your time, prepare timetable, read all the text and topics, and we discussed how to prepare notes and visuals. You can also see some notes, very useful notes, attractive notes in the visual form, and you should revise and cover the entire text, right. So, all the text you should cover, you should complete, and you should also go for practice. You should make practice with the questions of previous years of Board of Secondary Education Odisha, and you should also focus on the difficult or challenging questions. Your handwriting should be good, your get up of the answer sheet also should be good, which can be very attractive and which can also create impression in the mind of the evaluator or the examiner, right. And we also discussed the distribution of marks, how the marks have been distributed, right. And you see the 2 papers, paper 1, paper 2, and paper 1 50 multiple choice type of questions for 50 marks, and paper 2 5 questions. Question number 1 from the prose text 2 questions, and you are to answer 1 question for 5 marks. Then from poem 5 poems, you have to select 1 question out of 2 for 5 marks in 50 words, and again from 2 questions from prose you have to select 1 question for 2.5 marks and 1 question from 2 questions from the poems for 2.5 marks. And question number 3 we have already discussed these 2 questions 2.5, 2.5, and you have to also write another either report or summary from a passage that carries 5 marks, so 10 marks. And number 4 you have to select number 3 you have to select 1 essay for 10 marks, and number 4 you have to write either letter or an application for 5 marks, then 5 questions from unseen passage for 5 marks, 10 marks. And the last question is for translation, and you are supposed to face 2 translations, one a passage, a context having 5 sentences, and another a dialogue, right. So, you have to select 1 out of these 2 questions, right. You see, very important thing is time management, how to answer all the questions in time. Total marks you see 100 marks we have discussed, paper 1 50 marks for 1 hour, and paper 2 50 marks for 1.5 an hour. 1.5 an hour means you have 90 minutes. पिले एटा सबुठ इम्पोर्टाट मु सब बेले कहे पिला मानकु जे 50 मार्क पे आमे 90 मिनिट पाइबा, तेणु प्राय 1.5 मिनिट रु टिके अधिक, तेणु आमे गोटाए क्वेश्चन देखिबा जदि 5 मार्क प्रश्न अछि, इफ द क्वेश्चन कैरीज 5 मार्क्स देन एटलिस्ट वी हैव टू कंप्लीट इट, वी हैव टू राइट द आंसर इन 7 or 8 मिनिट्स मैक्सिमम. 7-8 मिनिट भितर जदि आमे लिखिबा ताहाले सब प्रश्न गुड़िक सुंदर भाव आमे लिखि परिबा, तरतर हबा नाही, handwriting सुंदर करी लिखिबा. So, when you are writing an essay for 10 marks you can also devote 15 minutes 17 minutes, right. तेणु आमे 15-17 मिनिट रे सेटको हमकु लेखिया को पड़िबो, maximum 20 marks for essay. Most of the time children they take more time in writing essay, and what happens, they ignore some other questions, right. They quickly they leave some other questions, right. So, time management is very important, and we have already discussed all these things. From prose 10 MCQ questions, one question out of 2 5 marks, and very short questions one question out of 2 2.5 marks, and then 5 vocabulary questions and 5 language or questions from your exercise or from the textbook. पिला माने गोटे कथा करो आमे we should not go for the key books, the guide books. Read many times, read once, twice, thrice, more times, many times, so that you can understand, you can remember all the things, right. And you just see पिला माने प्रश्न पाइला बेले संग संग कोन करंती चटकिनी से माने देखि दियंती उत्तर लिखि दियंती बेले बेले प्रश्न गोटेटी उत्तर गोटेटी समटाइम्स द क्वेश्चन एंड द इवन सम गुड स्टूडेंट्स ब्राइट लर्नर्स जो माने भलो लिखि परिबे प्रश्न तर तर देखि थांती से उत्तर गोटे पटे प्रश्न गोटे पटे यू रीड द क्वेश्चन फास्ट यू थिंक मु कोन कोन लिखिबी 5 मार्किया प्रश्नटे मते 50 वर्ड दबाक पड़ियो मते एटलिस्ट 4-5 सेंटेंस बा 6 सेंटेंस रे शेष करिया पड़ियो तापर मु लिखिबी कोन लिखिबी टिके भाबीबी गोटे मिनिट बा 30 सेकेंड देन आई विल स्टार्ट राइटिंग तापर टिके देखि देबी गोटे मिनिट 30 सेकेंड्स कोठी काले भूल थिवो रिराइट करि देबी जदि कोठी ग्रामर एरर रहिछि कोठी रहिछि एटलिस्ट घसा घसी न करी सिंपल गोटे गार पकि दिखि ता ऊपर मु आई कैन राइट so prathame you please take 30 seconds or 1 minute to think what to write, then start writing. It will be easier and better for you, right. Now we will discuss all the 5 prose texts. Today our discussion will be on how to answer questions which carry 5 marks, and we will start from the first prose, a letter to God. आमे जेतले पिले निजको प्रस्तुत करिबा सबु बेले गोटे नोट तयार करिया ये गोटे नोट हिच a letter to God टा दी भाग रे विभक्त कराइस. A letter to God has been divided into 2 parts, part 1, part 2. Part 1 Lencho's happy life, SCP1, SCP2 Lencho's sorrowful life and hope for God's help. से जेतले भाबिछि मोर आउ किछि नाही, there is no help at all, only hope for help from God. This is first part. Second part Lencho's letters to God, first letter, then reply with 70 pages, then second letter, and the story ends, right. And in this story there are 2 most important characters. So let us begin, let us see 1 or 2 sample questions from this text. You see SCP1 paragraph 1 and 2. Suppose one question comes, write briefly, answer in 50 words how did Lencho live a happy life. So you just see Lencho, a farmer living happily with his wife and children in his house on the top of the hill. So you can write Lencho, an innocent farmer, a simple, innocent, honest, hard-working farmer, lived with his wife with his children on the top of this hill in a small room. And there was a cornfield, he had a cornfield full of flowers, showing good harvest, promising good harvest, and but there was no rain. So it was, the cornfield was dry, and he was waiting for rain. Rain also started, and Lencho also became very happy, and this is how Lencho was happy, or Lencho lived a happy life, right. So here suppose one question, sometimes we get a question to write or to describe the character. Suppose the main character here is Lencho, right. So you can get question, describe Lencho or characterize or sketch the character of Lencho. Suppose I am just giving you the idea how you can easily write. You can also get characterize or sketch the character of Lencho, right. When you get this answer, you just have a mental picture. Suppose Lencho, the story actually moves around Lencho, the main character, right. So you can write, who is Lencho? Lencho was a farmer, a poor farmer, right, a poor farmer. Then you can write innocent, simple, honest, and also hard working. These are quality, right. These are all qualities of Lencho, hard working, right. So Lencho was a poor farmer He lived a happy life with his children and wife. He was very simple, innocent, honest and hardworking, and he had strong faith in God, strong faith. He believed God strongly, right? And even he believed the presence of God. He thought that God was present, right? And Lenzo became very sorry when his cornfield was destroyed, and he started writing letters to the God. And when he was so, or his belief was so strong, that his faith was so strong, that when got money from the postmaster, it was less than he wanted, thus he had wanted, that is why he got angry. So, this sentence or this idea gives how he had strong faith in God. Like this you can write 4 to 5 sentences for this question, right. So, my dear children, in stories you can get, this is you see you can get to write something about characters, right. We can also discuss here also at the high school. In a letter to God you can get 2 characters, one character is Lenzo, another character is, you can say, right. So, in a letter to God you can get 2 characters, one character is Lenzo and another character is the postmaster. Right. You are supposed to answer one question for Lenzo, sketch the character or describe Lenzo, or you write a brief paragraph about the postmaster. So, postmaster, when you are writing how the what the physical, he was very fat, but he was very he enjoyed everything, right, like this, and he actually first he loved at the farmer Lenzo, but then he seriously thought about it due to his strong faith in God. That is why he decided to help him, somehow he would help the poor farmer, right. Then come to at the high schools, the second Prose, right, which is usually completed in the first term, term 1. Term 1 we have 2 prose text, one is a letter to God, another is at the high school. So, when you are preparing yourself for examination, you have to prepare or you have to make notes. This is a note, this is in the tabular form. You have 7 paragraphs and the main ideas have been given here, and you are also supposed to get one question from each paragraph. So, you can get 7 possible questions, out of these 7 questions you may get one question, right. That is why first paragraph, stories and winning prizes and scholarships, how Gandhiji won prizes and scholarships, and what kind of student he was, all these things you can get here. Then paragraph 2, recollection, Gandhi's headmaster, cricket and gymnastics. You are supposed to answer a question about the Gandhi's headmaster, his name, right, what was his name, what kind of man he was, and what things did he focused on, did he give importance on, all these things you have to write here, right. Then paragraph 3, causes of dislike, punishment for late to gymnastic class, how Gandhiji was punished, right, because he arrived late in the gymnastic class and he was punished. So, each paragraph you can get one question for each paragraph, right. So, dear students, now you see para 4, the main idea is conviction and how Gandhiji was convicted for arriving late in the gymnastic class, and how he proved his innocence, and how the fine was exempted when his father, Gandhi's father, wrote a letter to the headmaster Jimmy, right, Mr. Jimmy, and Jimmy actually realized the thing, and he knew that Gandhiji was really innocent and it had told the truth. That is why the fee was exempted, right. And para 5, notion on handwriting. Gandhiji had the wrong notion that handwriting was not very important, but when he went to South Africa and he saw the handwriting of his friends, he realized that handwriting is very important for everyone. That is why he changed the notion, right. And this is also one question, notion on handwriting. You can also get one question. So, what was the wrong notion of Gandhiji and how did he change his thought, his notion, and what did he advise for good handwriting? Number 6, teachers, subjects, Sanskrit, Persian, mathematics, geography, all these subjects, which subject Gandhiji liked most and how he sat in the Sanskrit class but left it, and then he went to the Persian class again, how the Sanskrit teacher changed his attitude, right. And finally, Gandhi's gratitude to his Sanskrit teacher when again Gandhiji came back to the Sanskrit class and he scored better, and he also was able to read Sanskrit slokas which Bhagavad Gita, which changed his life. That is why he expressed his gratitude to his Sanskrit teacher. All these things. So, you see we have 7 paragraphs in this topic and 7 main ideas, and you can get 7 possible questions, and you should also prepare accordingly, right. Now, you see in another way the same thing, this is also the entire summary has been put in this note form. So, Gandhi's life and learning at school, good at studies, rewards, punishments, games and sports, handwriting, subject of study, teachers, exactly the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 paragraphs, 7 important ideas in words or phrases. So, my request to all of you, you please read the text, try to find out the main idea and the sub ideas, then design or make a note and put all the ideas in a diagram like this or in a table, right. So, that it will be easier for you to recall it at the time of answering the questions, right. You just see sub ideas, the same thing, not a necessary Gandhi's earlier wrong notion. एटा गोटे सैंपल क्वेश्चन टे दिया जाइछि जे गांधीजी हैंडराइटिंग उपर सपोज गोटे क्वेश्चन पड़ो ताले 1 2 3 4 these 4 important things we have to write. So, Gandhi previous notion was handwriting is not a necessary part of education. He retained this wrong idea while he went to England. Then when he saw the beautiful handwriting of lawyers and young men in South Africa, he changed his attitude. He was ashamed of his own bad handwriting. तांकु निजुक लाज लागुतिला. तेणु इंग्लैंड को गले देखिले, तापर आफ्रिकार देखिले, परिवर्तन आसिला, तांको मन रे परिवर्तन आसिला, निजुक लाज लागिला, चेष्टा कले और तापर भाबिले जे बैड हैंडराइटिंग शुड बी रिगार्डेड as a sign of an imperfect education, a necessary part of education, and every young man and woman be warned by my example to write good hand. ताले कोन एथेर मनकर आउट क्वेश्चन पड़ी पारे जे व्हाट डिड गांधीजी advice for writing good handwriting. You see, just children should first be taught the art of drawing before learning to write. Before writing, they should learn drawing. The children learn his letters by observing the different objects, and they should learn handwriting only after they learnt to draw objects. चित्र कले चित्र करि सारी कि टिके तांका आंगुठी फांगुठी भल करी कलम धरी पारे तापर से लिखा उचित से कथा गांधी देछन जोड़े क्वेश्चन आसी पारे. व्हाट वाज द रॉन्ग नोशन, हाउ डिड ही चेंज हिज नोशन, एंड व्हाट डिड ही एडवाइज स्टूडेंट्स टू write good handwriting, right. Now, you see the festivals of Northeast India. This is the third text of your textbook, and it is usually it is taught in the second term. द्वितीय टर्म रे आमर जो असेसमेंट हुए द्वितीय टर्म रे प्रथम क्वेश्चन होउची द फर्स्ट पॉसिबल क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया, व्हाई डू दे सेलिब्रेट मेनी फेस्टिवल्स. सो व्हेन वी से नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया, यू सी the 8 states and they out of 8 states, the 7 sisters and Sikkim as the rule of a little brother, and they celebrate festivals based on agriculture, and the festivals they are full of songs and dance and music, right. Now, you see one question, you just see what is Northeast India, that means you can write Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, these are 7 states, and another state is, these are Northeast India, another state is Sikkim, which is separated, which is not linked with the boundary, that is why Sikkim is regarded or considered to be little brother to 7 sisters, jokingly, right. So, this is one question. You see another question, these are some sample how you can write. जितेबाला आम देखा गोटे क्वेश्चन पे प्रस्तुत करवा नोट फॉर्म आगे ताकू लिखिदेवा कौन कौन दरकार. हाउ डू द पीपल ऑफ आसाम सेलिब्रेट बिहू फेस्टिवल्स. फर्स्ट यू सी बिहू फेस्टिवल्स आर द फेस्टिवल्स वेरी इंपोर्टेंट फेस्टिवल्स इन आसाम. एटा कोठी अछि ना पैराग्राफ 2 आउ 3 रे अछि की आइडिया कौन कौन अछि ना दे सेलिब्रेट दिस 3 बिहू फेस्टिवल्स. रोंगाली बिहू व्हिच इज कॉल्ड बोआग बिहू, कोंगाली बिहू, काटी बिहू यूजुअली हमरो कार्तिक मास जोटा हुए मिड अक्टोबर, एंड भोगाली बिहू or Megha view, Magha view, right, and mid January especially which is celebrated in mid January, end of harvest season, right. तेणु ये तीनोटी जिन हमको लिखा पड़ो तार अलग अलग ना लिखा पड़ो केबे हुए एंड स्पेशली आमको लिखा पड़ो जदि गोटे क्वेश्चन पड़ला जे हाउ द आसाम पीपुल दे सेलिब्रेट द बिहू फेस्टिवल, हाउ दे सेलिब्रेट दिस, these are the process or these are the ways they celebrate festivals with melodious folk songs. Young people they dance traditional dance, and they also they put on traditional attire or dress. They dance, they put brisk steps, quick steps, they move their hands, legs, right, and they also dance with the traditional by playing traditional musical instruments like cymbals, bamboo clappers, dole, paper like this, right. ये भी गोटे क्वेश्चन पड़ी पारे से आसाम रो लोक माने केमती करंती बिहू फेस्टिवल कौन केबे हुए, राइट. तेणु स्पेशली ए चैप्टर जिते क्वेश्चन आसीबो आमको देखिया को पड़िबो जे फेस्टिवल रो ना कौन बा से जगहटा कोठी अछि, फेस्टिवल रो ना कौन, केबे हुए, काई हुए, केमती हुए, राइट. सो नाउ यू सी how do the people of Arunachal Pradesh they celebrate, right. This is about the location of Arunachal Pradesh, farther north in the mountain regions of the Himalayas, remote and picturesque location with deep feeling of beauty, green paddy fields. So, you have to write this note, you have to make notes on this. So, when you are going to, suppose you are going to write the answer to the festivals of Arunachal Pradesh, this is a sample, Losar festival, Mopin festival, Zero festival. When the Losar festival is the New Year festival, Mopin festival is the harvest festival, harvest time, Zero festival is the September, or that is observed or is celebrated in September. Why? Now, Losar festival for prosperity and wealth, Mopin is for harvest, good harvest, and Zero festival is the musical festival to enjoy. How? What happens, what they do like this. So, in case of Losar festival, जदि गोटे फेस्टिवल पड़ला केबे हुए, काई हुए, आउ केमती हुए. So, my dear students, whenever you get a question to answer about a particular festival, you should write what is the festival, where it is celebrated, when it is celebrated, and why it is celebrated, and how it is celebrated. So, 4 things, 4 or 5 sentences, and it will be about 50 or 55 or 60, maximum 60 words, right, not more than that. Then come to air pollution, a hidden menace. You know, this is right one question, narrate the tragic accident at Bhopal in 1984, right. So, these 3 questions, if you answer these 3 questions, then you can answer the question for 5 marks. What accident took place at Bhopal in 1984? Why is it called an industrial accident? And what were the tragic consequences of it? So, you have to focus on these 3 things. So, my dear students, we are also discussing all these things very quickly, and in the next session if possible we will also discuss the rest of the topics. Now, the time is over. Thank you very much. I hope you must prepare a timetable and you will prepare yourself for the coming examination, annual HS examination 2025. Thank you very much. See you in the next session.